Okay, so I am going to address this because you asked me to. So here we go. These two are getting divorced, and he, Jeezy, that's his name, he was the one that filed for divorce, which is saying a lot because, girl, if I were you, Jeannie, I would be embarrassed. So allegedly, this couple has been living separately for quite some time. So the marriage has been toxic, well, basically a failure from the jump. Which is kind of funny because everyone was like, oh, couples goals, blah, blah, blah. Everybody was, sucking this couple's dick, basically. This story is very interesting to me because if you remembered when Jeannie was on the reel, she basically talked about her preference. Her preference being white men. Basic. This is what she said. Okay, this is what she said. This is not what I said. She said that her preference were white men. She said that she find black men attractive because, but she felt like, they're more like a side dish, not a main course. Okay, she said that she liked her dark meat on the side, but you all can go search the video for yourself. I'm not gonna get into it. But what I want to say is that I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about your preference, and I also want to touch on the having a child thing. So, ladies, my advice to you: if you have a preference, you need to stick with your preference because I'm telling you, the minute you compromise, you if you compromise, because remember what we read in, what's the name of that book, the book about negotiation. Please, someone write it in the comments. We read it in the book club. No deal is better than a bad deal. And the book also said you never ever compromise. It's either you get what you want or you don't. So ladies, never compromise when it comes to your preference and when it comes to the things that you want, because I promise you, you will regret it. Because I can guarantee you there's going to be someone that will comment below and talk about their experience about, relaxing their standards. So to give a guy a chance, only to regret it, because those are the guys that will play in your face and embarrass you. Because this girl, I would be embarrassed if I were her. I would be embarrassed because, and come to think of it, I think her first husband also filed for divorce, which is saying a lot. This is not looking good, Jeannie. So yes, do not, under any circumstances, compromise your standards. Don't do it. Stick with your preference if that's what you're into and keep it pushing. So let's talk about the childbearing. When Jeannie, what's her name, Jeannie Mai, when she came on the scene, I remember she was talking about not having kids and not wanting to have kids, and she was basically in a 10-year marriage. And, I believe she and her husband, her first husband, agreed that they were not going to have kids. So let's talk about the baby thing. Unfortunately, their daughter, who is so young, already have divorced parents. This is not looking good. But I remember when she was on the reel, I remember she used to talk about being a child-free woman and married for 10 years. And I remember, I think it was 7 years into the marriage, because we all know about that 7-year itch. 7 years into the marriage, she came on the reel and she was talking about how she sensed that her husband is getting, what's the word I'm looking for? Baby fever, okay? She sensed that he wanted children and he wanted a family. But, entering the marriage, they both agreed that they wasn't going to have kids, and she decided to stick with her guns. She wasn't going to have kids. And he was the one that also filed for divorce, yeah? So he moved on really quickly, y'all. Like he got a girlfriend, they had kids or whatever. I think they got married eventually. I'm not exactly sure, don't quote me on it. But I was like, okay, well, at least she escaped the marriage, and she didn't have the kids, thank God. Now you are 42 years old. I think she had a baby at 42. 42-year old, after all those years saying that you don't want kids, you went and had a baby by this guy. Like, I'm so confused. I don't even know how to, I don't know. I'm very confused. But at the end of the day, it doesn't look good. And again, that's another thing. If you know you don't want kids, do not marry or get into a relationship with men that want kids. Don't do it, because it's going to be an issue. I'm a child-free woman by choice, and I am also married, and both me and my husband do not want kids. And, both of us are, well, up in age. And when I say up in age, I'm in my 40s and he's a little bit older. But at the end of the day, this situation is really bad. And I was thinking that, you know, she was a victim, but I don't know. Like, there's something about Jeannie that always kind of had me like, I don't know. Because at the end of the day, we might look at this and think she's the victim because, you know, we always want to, you know, take the side of women. But I have a feeling that there's something off because if a man is filing for divorce, then just remember, men don't really file for divorce. It's rare. So a man will file, there's two reasons why a man will file for divorce. Reason number one, there's another woman. Okay? Reason number two, you cheated. There was infidelity. Those are literally the only two reasons that I can think of that a man will actually file for divorce. So I don't know, maybe he caught her cheating on him with her preference. Who knows? Okay, that's just my speculation. I don't know. But anyways, this story is crazy, and I feel so sad. I feel so bad for that child because I have a feeling that she's gonna be one of those regretful mothers. Anyways, those are my thoughts.